Welcome back, folks. This is Delboy's Garage, episode 6 I think of Project Belly Pan. Now join me the next day now, Sunday morning. This is all ready for paint. All the filing is done, all the dressing and finessing and handwork is all done. This metal is as good as it needs to be now for paint. And I just wanted to make a quick point. Something else which has become sort of obvious to me is that a great thing not to have any filler in this, because I will get it powder coated. This sits in a position on the bike where this centre strip especially, it's just going to get absolutely blasted by all the grit and weather as the wheel runs right here. So this is, whatever you do to this, it's going to get buggered. It doesn't matter what it is. The only solution is that rock hard powder coat, and an example of that is on the frame of your Harley, or any bike really with a frame that sits right down by the front wheel. When you look here, this powder coat, this stuff's like iron. It just does not scratch. You can't even polish it. If you just teacup that, if you get a scratch in it from something really sharp, you try teacutting it, you fail. It just does not move. This stuff is brilliant. So that's the solution. I will get it powder coated. And now, you can't get anything powder coated that's filler. Powder coat won't stick to filler. It's electrostatically applied. It has to adhere to steel. So the fact that this is completely filler free is important. So I'm going to paint it now, and that's just so I can mount it and use it and enjoy it. When the winter comes, it's coming off a bit like the side mount for my bike's air filter, which I made as well. And I'm going to get them powder coated. So that's got filler in it, so I'm going to deal with that in another way. I'm going to try a bit of a hand at leading. I'm going to see if I can lead it, which is not a difficult process. But this for now, no filler, and the great way that that's got no filler means I can powder coat this. But for now, just need some paint. So looking inside, I need to get loads of primer in there and just protect it really, because I don't want it rusting before, you know, the weather's going to make it. It's correct shape now. Everything's rounded off. All the handwork's done. It's smooth as a baby's bum now. That's absolutely lovely, and it's as smooth as it needs to be for paint. So the first job, butane lamp. Going to burn off all the grease, fingerprints, sticky marks, residues from welding, all the powder and crud and all the scuzz that's in there that you just can't get to. It's all going to get burnt off. Not get it too hot, because again, I'm just always worried about distortion. When it's perfect at the moment, I can't risk that. So it's just going to get blasted off with the old lamp, burn it all off. And today, all I'm going to do, I'm going to take advantage of this temperature. It's 23 and a bit and rising in the shade, and it's only just 9 o'clock in the morning. So what I'm going to do is, as the sun comes over the top of my garage, this is a steel roof, and it gets up to about 45 degrees in here, and that's perfect for baking this off. So I'm just going to literally waz about 6 heavy coats of primer on this, and then I can just flatten that primer down to take all these little tiny grinder marks out. They'll just be buried under the primer. They're only tiny, you can't even barely feel them, but they're enough to want me to deal with. So it's a heavy coat of primer over the whole thing. It's just a case of making it as presentable as possible, so that I can then flat it back, wet sand it, and then it's just going to get satin blacked. I had another little idea of a strip of polished stainless riveted up the centre with repeated rivets, a bit sort of aircraft style, so that might be a way to protect it in the future. But for now, I just want to get it finished. This is the 6th episode. It's rolling on a bit now. I'm keen to get it done. This should have been done by now, but I've only had the evenings. So here it is. This is the first bit of body work. Time to get it, making it look a bit presentable. Okay, stick around, stay tuned, see what happens. Okay, it's getting hung up. Hang 'em high, baby. What you need to do is hold the point of the flame, the blue bit, against it, that ensures no soot. If you get soot on it, you just got to start cleaning it again. You just see the grease evaporating off it. Dust just burning away. take much. You don't have to make it red. Make sure it doesn't change colour, because then you'll start to alter the metal and it will distort. This may not be the right way to do it, but it works for me every time. You see little flashes of green and red and all sorts. That's stuff just burning off, so it's doing good. And when it stops and there's nothing more burning off, you know you're ready. Which that just about is. There you go. Right. As you can see, that doesn't really change a lot, but as you're burning it, you can kind of see all the stuff just burning off as it goes across, and that's quite hot. But just make sure when you do that you don't allow the metal to change colour. Don't hold it in any one spot. You're just heating it right up. You're just heating it up like a saucepan sort of temperature would be, so that it just burns everything off, all the residues and grease and stuff. That's all gone. So now while that's nice and hot, I'm going to flash a coat of primer on that, because that'll oxidise straight away and be a lovely hard baked on coat. So let's just get the first little bit of primer on. Okay, first one. It's drying as it's touching instantly. Good job, babies. Loads inside, chase it around. This is hot, it's just drying as it's going on. So I can just keep laying it up. Right, let that dry off. Coat number 2. This is cooled down now, so the primer's going on wet. You can see a wet coat now, which gives you the ability to judge coat depth. But it's great that that first coat went on and just oxidised. It's gone baked hard. This is going to be about 6 heavy coats. Give it time to dry, probably overnight, so it bakes right on over the course of today through to tomorrow afternoon after work. And then I can rub it back and get it flat. You can actually see the ripples, the little grinder marks in it through the primer, so it's got to have a few more yet. Turn this round. That'll do for now. Right, time for the third coat. Just give it 15 minutes to go off between coats. Trying to avoid runs as well, because I don't have to mess about rubbing runs out. I'll block sand it when I get this all dried off. Hopefully make a nice smooth finish. Take all the little grinder marks out. Okay, just before the 4th coat, I just want to show you this. You think England's foggy and cold. Check that out. 46 degrees. And that's sitting in the sunlight. And it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. Ha ha ha. What a beautiful day. Love it. Now, it's about 26 in here now. What I'm going to do is just A little trick now, little tipette you might want to pick up. This is all going to get rubbed down, as I said. I'm going to flat all this down and use block sanding to get it absolutely square. No filler, just paint, but lots of it and lots of block sanding. So you need guide coats to tell you when you're getting down through the different layers. And it's handy if the different layers are different colours, because you can tell. It's kind of colour coded. So that's 3 coats of white. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop a coat of satin black on, then another coat of white, then another coat of satin black to make it 6 coats. And the idea of that is it will give me a nice guide as I'm rubbing down through to how I'm doing and how close I'm getting to the steel. Coat number 4. These are all going to get rubbed off. All these coats are rubbed off, most of it. So it's just building up layers, just guide layers. And in this temperature today, this lovely warm day, this will dry off. So by tomorrow, this is going to be perfect spraying. That's it. Another can gone. Good job, they're only $2.99, isn't it? Right. 15 minutes. And finally, one more coat of white. Okay, I'm running out of tape now, so I'm just going to finish this and I'll talk to you in a second. Okay, there we have it. Now that's it. That's the part loaded up with shed loads of paint. It's completely wet at the minute. That will matte out once it dries. So as you saw, that is about 3 coats of white, 1 heavy coat of black and another heavy coat of white over the top. So it goes white, black, white as I'm rubbing down through. And that's just a double guide coat. Just as I'm going to block sand that, I can see the colours as I go down through, make sure that I'm getting that height correct so that it's nice and flat when I'm wet sanding it, because I really want to make a nice job of it. So that's literally going to take at least overnight. There's a good 6 coats of material on that, primer, top coat primer, and they're pretty much virtually all going to be rubbed off, well I say down to the last 2 coats, so it's lovely and smooth. And I'm going to get a bit more paint, going to get some more top coat. It's just going to be satin black for now, just to get it on the bike looking good. Okay, so it's now 10 o'clock. Just check the temperature. It's cooled off a little bit. It's getting on for 30 degrees in the shade in here now. And out there it is about 51 in direct sunlight. And that's just, this is way too nice a day to spend in Delboy garage. So we're going out now for a little ride on the bikes, and this evening I'll get that edited up, get on tube, and that's it. Thanks for tuning in and watching Delboy's Garage. See us next time when this is all dried out for some wet sanding. Take it easy, babies.